If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIMO for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIMO for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIMO.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, Forte. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
There's something you can do today that will impact all your tomorrows. Open an AZ 529 Education Savings Plan. Contribute just $50 a month, and you'll have nearly $20,000 by your child's high school graduation, or as a great start towards your own education savings. Your money grows tax-free and can be used for college, vocational school, or workforce training. Learn more at az529.gov. Do it today for all your tomorrows.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. No, I'm not talking about Ralph Romano. I'm talking about Keon Rose. Next to him is Ralph Romano from Harmon Solar, and joining us, and of course, he's doing the Weekend Warriors show, the hippest, coolest show, I guess, on Sundays. And then my name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is out, and he will be returning sometime. You are the
not anytime soon, though.
Not anytime soon. No, it's like the 17th of October. I don't know
how we're going to survive. Running his mouth, man. He runs his mouth.
I guess. I didn't know it was a suspension.
I told him.
Did not realize that.
I hurt my pinky on his jaw, but I told him.
Oh, dang.
That's a different kind of suspension.
Wow.
It's on him.
Okay. You are the fourth dimension, and you are texting in on our text line at 888-368-1580. Today, really quick show. Of course, we got Thursday Night Football coming up after the show tonight at 4:30 is pregame. And then the Scott the King will be here to answer your fantasy football questions. And in the first hour here, before we go and visit with Scott the King, we will be giving you our picks. I'm doing something a little different today, guys.
Oh,
doing something a little different.
Change.
Yeah, I got to do something to help the Cardinals.
You're gonna pull against them finally?
No.
Well, never that.
I don't know if you guys can see my hat here. We're on Zoom. It's in high definition. Perhaps you can't see my hat, but there it is right there. Yep. Okay, so
is that a UFL hat?
Clean look. Oh
no,
my God.
Oh no, this is not UFL. No, it's not like that. I'll tell you what looks like UFL. It was the Sea Chickens last week against Detroit. That looked like a UFL team.
I have no problem being 3-1.
That's a nice way to reframe that.
Man,
Have
if
you
they play
considered
like
being a
that again.
politician?
If we can win 3 out of every 4, that's a great thing.
All right. Before we get started, I had to leave yesterday's show a little early, so I wanted to address that. I know there's some people don't really know what's going on, and I know Jeffrey has tried to add to it with some things like weatherman conventions, this, that, and the other. Tijuana, Mexico. First of all, I want to say, Keon, thank you very much for jumping in when you did. That's a long day. Trust me, I've worked my marathon shifts in radio in my career, and it's even worse when you have to talk for 5 hours. So thank you very much, my friend. Congratulations to you. I heard nothing but great things. But and Ralph, it's good that you're here so that you can find out what's going on too. In September, I developed some serious health situations. I won't go into detail. But as a result, I was in the hospital a couple of times, and lately I've had some back issues. My back. When I get up in the morning, it sounds like 2 skeletons falling off a tin roof. It just.
No, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
So I've had some serious back situations my entire life, but it's getting worse. That's why I say. Ooh, don't get old, Keon, whatever you do.
I'm trying not to.
Fourth dimensioners, don't get old, whatever you do. But I want to sincerely, I got on the air yesterday, probably shouldn't have. I had taken some pretty powerful pain medications. I had a procedure early this week, which helped me quite, frankly, it helped me a lot. I was in just severe pain, and I know you guys don't want to hear a sob story. So the bottom line is, thank you, Fourth Dimension. I know some of you know somehow what's going on with me. Others don't. So I'll come clean right now. Many of you know also, and I'm stumbling on this because I'm a little nervous about it. But anyway, most of you know I had a liver transplant about 17 years ago. Well, the disease that I had has returned. And so I'm being cared for that. And then we have this excruciating back situation. I had trigger point injections on, what is today, Thursday? So it was Tuesday. So Monday, I wasn't able to sit up in my chair and do the show. And you're thinking, oh, my God, Randy, it's just radio. Well, yes, but the problem is I'm sitting in a chair, and that's putting pressure on my spine. So I wasn't able to sit up. So there you go. It's all out in the open, and I want to apologize to Keon for bailing on him a couple of times. That's not normally me, but I think we've got this thing kind of turned around, and I would sincerely I apologize, Keon, my brother, for being on the air when I probably shouldn't have been on the air yesterday at all. I should have just been laying down and come up with some alternate plan, but. There you go.
Yeah, you tried, and you know what? I no hard feelings at all. It worked out. The Fourth Dimension moved into the second co-host spot, and we had fun. So
well, there you go.
All good.
We have the greatest listeners in all of radio, and I mean that. And that's just not BS. I mean that. Our Fourth Dimension are the best listeners in the whole world. So thank you all for hanging in there with us and hanging in there with me. And so anyway, enough now. We'll move along. 888-368-1580 is the text line, and we'll get to hear from you. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start making picks right away because we want to make sure that we get this in before we lose time on the show. And I know what's going to happen. There's going to be times on the show where we get sidetracked because it always happens. But let's start now with our picks for this week here from our fan pick'em pages. Where are we? I know I was tied with Ralph for a while. Did Jeffrey? Did he tell you where we were?
I think Keon and I are tied right now.
Yeah, and Jeffrey's a little bit behind us.
Yeah.
So okay, because I know you and I were leading and we were tied, so I must have really blown it last week. Okay.
One of those. Everybody's got one of those. This
can't win them all, I guess. Anyway, so let's go to the fan pick'em page. Tonight's game is Tampa Bay at Atlanta. It's an interesting game. Ralph, I don't know what you think about this, but I find this could be an amazingly amazing game on Thursday night. Amazingly amazing.
Amazingly amazing. And
Yeah,
everybody's picking Tampa.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I'm picking Tampa.
Are you okay? Well, before we get ahead of ourselves here, okay, Ralph, go ahead. Who are you picking in this Thursday night?
Keon blew the surprise. I'm really upset.
Well,
now.
that's too. Yeah. Well, I mean,
well, everybody's picking Tampa except for me. I know Tampa's hot right now. They look really good. Mayfield's playing out of his mind. I don't know, man. Thursday night in Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, all those weapons. I just got this feeling that tonight they're going to play some ball. And they're going to beat Tampa in a really hard-fought game. I mean, you should take Tampa. Go ahead and take Tampa. Everybody's taking Tampa. I'm taking the Falcons. So go against me.
You're taking the Dirty Birds, all right? Yeah. Keon, who do you got in this matchup? Although, like, we didn't know you're taking Tampa.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa, and the reason why is because, we keep talking about it. We talk about it every week. Kirk Cousins, and he's got all the weapons, and look at all the weapons. I haven't seen it yet. It has not actually shown up consistently on the football field. They haven't looked great. Even last week, they beat the Saints 26-24 because Younghoe Koo kicked a 58-yard field goal. There was a defensive touchdown, and then there was a special teams touchdown. That wasn't the offense either. Kirk Cousins didn't throw a touchdown. He threw an interception. I haven't seen it from the Falcons. I have seen it from the Buccaneers, so I'm taking the Buccaneers.
All right. I'm taking Atlanta. It's a home game, and I feel like they're close, and I feel like Bijan Robinson has just started. And if they could ever figure out how to use Kyle Pitts the correct way, I mean, maybe he's not like a tight end. Maybe they should make him a receiver.
Just a big wide receiver.
But,
why not?
But I mean, why not? I mean, Anquan Bolden was a big receiver. He was a guy that would go get the ball. You know what I mean?
Look at the Raiders. They drafted Brock Bowers to be a tight end, and he's just a big wide receiver there. So why not?
There you go. I wish somebody would figure out how to use Kyle Pitts. I know Jeffrey would like that. So I'm taking Atlanta because it's a home game. Yes, you're right, though, Keon. Tampa Bay has shown some moxie. Some real moxie. I like the cut of their jib, just not tonight. All right, let's move on to Sunday morning. Is that right? I'm moving on to Sunday. But yeah, Sunday morning from live from London, jolly old England. The Jets are taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is the home team in this. So, Keon, give us your rundown on this London game.
Yeah, this is effectively a neutral site game, so you don't really have to worry about the home away distinction. But you do have a great defense that the Vikings have put together. Brian Flores has just built something that's absolutely scary and terrifying, and I don't think anyone's figured it out quite yet. And the way that defense works and operates is that he allows them to run like an offense a little bit, where if they see something that the offense is giving them, those players have the ability to change the call on the field. There's almost no defense in football that's doing that. It requires the right players and personnel. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, Aaron doesn't like pre-snap anything. I just think this is a very bad matchup for the Jets, just based on how this defense is. And by the way, the Jets offensive line, it sucks. And this is a great Vikings defensive line. And I think that there's a whole lot of things going wrong with the Jets. Can they keep Aaron Rodgers upright? Can Breece Hall actually get ahead of the line of scrimmage before he meets the first player that contacts him? Because right now he's got negative yards before contact, which puts him near the bottom of the league in players, doing that from the running back position. I don't like the Jets for anything in this game. I'll take the Vikings.
Okay. All right. Ralph, I'm assuming you're going purple people eaters.
Well, I mean, I hate international games. I hate these games. You know why I really hate them now, though? Why? They take my show off the air.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not on the air for the next 3 weeks because of these stupid international games. So I'm only going to be on X and live streaming, and that's fine though. But it's upsetting. Anyway, so because of that, I'm taking neither team. I hate them both.
All right.
Well,
so
no, it makes you pick one.
Right?
It doesn't.
I'll have to pick one anyway. So. I'll pick one. I'll reluctantly pick one, jerks. I'm going to take Minnesota because Minnesota's just playing such good ball, and I'm a Sam Darnold believer. I think that he's just found his place. He's found his home, and he looks great. Their defense looks great. I don't see the Jets look horrible. They looked so bad last week. Aaron Rodgers looks old. I'm going Minnesota. I think they win this game.
It's a trifecta. I've got the Vikings as well, and I'm sure Donnie will be very happy about that when he texts in. I'm glad that we are all picking Minnesota. So, All right, another game on Sunday evening. It features Dallas at Pittsburgh. This game could be fun to watch as well because Dallas should win the game, but they just lost Cooks. He's injured. He's got a knee infection, so that takes away one of their weapons. They haven't been playing great. Their defense hasn't been playing good. Pittsburgh is surprisingly has been figuring out ways to stay in ball games, and their defense. Especially with Watt coming off the edge. Good night. I expect him to have several sacks coming up on Sunday night. I'm taking Dallas though. I think these guys have got to blow off this rust here somewhere. Dallas can't sink to the bottom of the East and stay there all season, can they?
I don't think they can stay there all season, but can they stay there for like half a season? Because that's what it looks like is about to happen. I don't think they're beating the Steelers. Last week they played the Ravens, and that looked like a secondary that, quite frankly, not last week, the week before, sorry. That looked like a secondary that anybody could take. And for whatever reason, the Ravens locked up CeeDee Lamb and threw away the key. Now you don't have Brandon Cooks in addition to that. And this is a Steelers defense that's also going to play you tough, play physical. You mentioned TJ Watt, but they have a number of players on that defense that come up big in big games. And the key here also is that Justin Fields is not making mistakes. He's not turning the football over. He's not putting the football in harm's way. He hasn't been a superstar, but they haven't needed him to be, and he hasn't tried to be. He's been very, very good at managing the offense, keeping them on schedule, and then taking those home run shots when they present themselves. I really think that Justin Fields is kind of the X factor in this game because of how steady he makes the Steelers offense. Not that Dak isn't playing better than he was to start the year, but Dallas's offensive line has issues. Their defensive line has issues. Those are the trenches. I don't trust them.
All right. So, Ralph, what's your pick? Dallas at Pittsburgh.
See, I think X factor is not just Justin Fields. I think it's Najee Harris, too. He needs to see what he can do without this game. I like Pittsburgh. Dallas is just depressing. They don't look good. I'm talking to all my friends out in Texas. They're not even watching the games anymore. They've literally stopped watching. They said they know what they're getting with this team and they're not interested in watching it.
All right.
And I was like, wow, that's kind of quick. But yeah, Dallas has just been very depressing. I don't think they're going to get right this game. Pittsburgh is just like everything Keon just said. I 100% agree with. Fields is just doing it right and just doing enough. And it's been enough to win games. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think they win this game too.
I may have to change my pick. You guys have really convinced me that maybe I should be going Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, keep your pick.
No, I don't have to. All right. Let's see here. We got some more time. Here's a game I can't really figure out. I know what I've already done on it, but Ralph, I'll ask you.
Okay.
It's a Sunday, one of the early afternoon games. The Ravens at the Bengals. What do you got in that game?
I think this game's easy, right? Just for me, the Ravens are finding their stride. They're playing good ball. I like what they did last game. I like the way Lamar Jackson's playing. The Bengals, they just still, I know they don't look good. They don't look right. They don't look like the team from 2 years ago. I know they won a game. So what? I think the Ravens are going to beat them up in this game. I like the Ravens in this game a lot.
Okay. All right. Keon?
I like the Ravens too. I think this one could probably be a little bit more back and forth than people think, just because I do believe that the Bengals finding their offensive stride is real. And I still think when you look at what the Ravens have done as far as defending the run, they are the number one defense against the run. Those two things, that's just Baltimore football. That's exactly where they want you. And when you add to the Bengals are already doing a horrific job running the football, Zach Moss has not been good. To the point where I actually think they should start giving Chase Brown more carries. Chase Brown is averaging more yards a carry, and he's getting more yards after contact than Zach Moss is. If you're not going to give him more yards or more carries, at least give him equal carries with Zach Moss, because Moss isn't getting a whole lot done, to be completely honest. And then on the defensive side, the Bengals can't stop the run. You can run directly through the middle of that defense. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a field day on Sunday. So I'm taking the Ravens because I just think this matchup is everything the Baltimore Ravens like and nothing the Bengals do.
Okay, it's another trifecta. I mean, this is weird that we're all picking about the same along here. I think
maybe we're figuring out the season a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe, but yeah, you're right. Baltimore seems to have a good rhythm right now. They seem to be playing with great confidence. I mean, the guy almost had 200 yards. I mean, King Henry almost had 200 yards last week.
As a team, they had 271.
Well, and King Henry was just running people over again. It was good to see him. I know he's 31, 30. Is he 30 or 31? I know he's older, but he's running. I mean, he still looks spry. It looks like he can have that burst of speed when he needs to get away from anybody else. And of course, that stiff arm does some damage.
That thing still works. I mean, he can really put you into the dirt. And he's 30. Yeah,
30. There we go. All right, so give me Baltimore. Let's go to the text line at 888-368-1580. Okay, responses to me. Thank you very much, Booger Wolf. I appreciate it. Average Joe, thanks. I appreciate it. CK, you too. Bruno, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I will, Bruno Baller. I will keep you up to date. Brooks Koepka, thanks. Enjoy your off season before you go to Hawaii, and enjoy the off season. Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. I want to hear what the Fourth Dimension thinks about some of these picks. We'll be back after this break, and we will pick some more NFL games. Don't forget, 4:00 today, the King will be here to answer your fantasy football questions. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL Thursday Night Football tonight. The Atlanta Falcons home to take on Tampa Bay. Atlanta a 2-point home favorite, minus 125 on the money line. The Buccaneers plus 105 with the over-under at Mercedes-Benz Stadium at 43.5. The Arizona Cardinals will be at Levi's Stadium on Sunday to take on San Francisco. The Cardinals at 1-3. They're a 7-point road underdog, while the Niners sit at 2-2. They're minus 380 on the money line. Cardinals plus 300. The over-under is at 49.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
You may know me as Ruben Gallego, but I've had a lot of titles over the years. First, son, or mijo, by my single immigrant mom who worked so hard to make ends meet, and brother by my 3 incredible sisters. I've been called janitor, line cook, construction worker, doing any job I could to help out since we didn't have much. I earned the title graduate from Harvard University. I was called infantryman in the Marines when my company took some of the heaviest losses in Iraq. I'm called congressman, proudly representing Arizona the past 10 years. But my favorite title of all is dad to my 2 beautiful kids, whose future I'm fighting for every day. That's why today, my title is candidate for Senate. I'm fighting to lower costs and secure our border. I'm Ruben Gallego, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message because for me, it's never been about titles. It's about standing up for hardworking Arizonans like you.
Paid for by Gallego for Arizona.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn We Match, unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on this Thursday, October 3rd. We've got a lot going on here. Let's get to the text line real quick. Most of you, thank you very much. Booger Wolf, CK, Average Joe, Brooks Koepka, Bruno Baller. Appreciate you very much. CK, did you ask for the drink? Which one of you guys asked for the drink? Anyway,
I'll pour it here in just a minute. Hefty Lefty at 888-368-1580 says all of those reasons are valid, well articulated, and smart takes. That's why I'll be picking the Ravens to lose since this year in the NFL is drunk.
Jeez.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No,
he's
really
not wrong. Counterpoint. I haven't picked an incorrect Ravens pick, win or loss, this entire season. For whatever reason, I understand the Baltimore Ravens. Nobody else, but the Ravens I get. I don't know.
I will say the Bengals looked better in their last game. It looked like Joe Burrow was actually, hitting his marks, and looks like he wasn't, on the ground or running for his life. Yeah, it looked like he was being better protected.
He did look better, but that running game is still bad, and I just can't trust it. I just can't trust it. It's not doing enough, and I think that it's going to make it harder on the passing game when you don't have that complementary football.
Yeah. No, I agree, 110% on that. All right, again, 888-368-1580 if you want to jump in with your take on what games you might be looking at this weekend. Meanwhile, we'll continue looking at the slate of NFL games, and I'm doing something different today for the Cardinals. I feel like my extreme rants just don't seem to be getting the jobs. I believe in my heart of hearts that the Cardinals don't listen when I give a rant to try to pump them up.
Your rant is the best thing about the Cardinals every week. Just saying.
It's at the point I enjoy that more than the game.
Me too.
I don't think anybody on the team is listening because they don't go out and produce the way they should. Now, against the Lambs, the Hollywood Lambs, they did. I mean, let's face it, they beat their ass. But, where were they? The last few weeks, especially last week, they got their ass handed to them. But it was kind of bittersweet because it was Keon's team that absolutely dismantled us at the Silver Nest. But we're on to somewhere else, San Francisco. I'm not talking about last week. And Jeffrey's not talking about the Colts or much to do with the Colts.
No, Jeffrey's not talking about the Colts last week or next week or until this season's over.
I don't
call
think
him next year.
But I don't want to do the Colts right now. What time is it? What time is it where he's at? Is he? It's 8 hours ahead or something?
8 hours ahead. Yeah,
he's asleep.
Oh, he'll actually get to catch the London game live.
Let's see. T-Licious says Rapesburg or goat ropers. That's like picking diarrhea or puking. And glad to have you back, Randy. Thanks for T-Licious. Boy, after that text, wow. Yeah, I need to take a shower.
Seriously.
Good night. All right. 888-368-1580. We've talked about Tampa Bay. We've talked about, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. We've talked about the London game. We've talked about the primetime games that you'll be listening to here on 1580 The Fanatic. Let's talk about Green Bay at Los Angeles on Sunday afternoon. Now, the Rams, look, first of all, they're like walking wounded, and they're not getting any better anytime soon. Matt Stafford, who does he have to throw to? Meanwhile, Green Bay is just getting better. They got Jordan Love back, and all he did was come back and nearly win the damn game for him last week. Who you got, Ralph? Green Bay or the Los Angeles Rams?
Yeah, you just hit on it, right? The Rams are still struggling with all their injuries. They're not going to get past that anytime soon. When Tutu Atwell is your number one guy, he's okay, but you know what that means. Jordan Love coming back last week was probably the biggest mistake the Packers made, and he finally was able to get his thing going in the second half, but too little too late, so they lost that game. Yeah, I know, right? He got his thing going.
Huh.
I'll talk to you about it off there. Anyway, I think he'll be a lot better this week. I think they'll go there, and I think they'll do some damage. I think the Packers are going to take care of business with the Rams. I don't see the Rams as having enough there right now to be able to handle this Packers team. So I see the Packers running all over them as well, which will be huge and open it up for Love. So I'm going to take the Pack.
Keon?
Same. Lot of Josh Jacobs. A whole lot of Josh Jacobs is about to happen. I feel very bad for the Rams. What's about to happen to them is going to be disturbing. They're going to give up a lot of yards. They will be scored on very often because Jordan Love is one of the handful of quarterbacks that's put up like 20 points on this Vikings defense that they went up against last week. I agree with Ralph. It was very unwise for them to put him out there. But that fourth quarter, when it just started all clicking, it's just going to be that for 4 quarters this game, because this defense is nowhere near as tough as Minnesota's. And I just think that Jordan's got too many weapons to distribute the football to.
That's true. That's true. Like I said, he almost brought the pack back to win last week. So that was impressive. I've also got Green Bay to win against Los Angeles. Oh, how have you fallen, oh, little lambs of Hollywood. Oh, how you've fallen from a great and mighty Super Bowl where you all got T-shirts that said, F those picks, F those picks. And guess what? Now you are in purgatory.
Yeah, turns out you might have wanted some of the picks. You know, so you got to do what you got to do to get a championship, but you might have wanted a few of those because
this is what happens though when you do that.
Yeah, they mortgaged the future, and now the future's here. It's here now.
Yeah, how those picks feel now?
They won their ring.
Yeah, I think Green Bay wins, and I think you're right, Ralph, about Jordan Love, because don't they have a bye week after this week? Green Bay?
Don't know. Green Bay.
I thought they were having a bye week coming up here soon.
The Packers, they have their bye week in about 5 weeks.
Don't they play the Cardinals next week?
They do.
That's the bye week. There you go. That's what you were thinking of, Randy.
That's hurtful. Did you not hear the top of the show?
I did, but I've moved past it.
All right, Buffalo is headed to Houston, and I think this is going to be a good game on Sunday. It's one of the early games, and right now Buffalo seems to have that offense humming right along. However, one of their anchors on their defensive line, he just got suspended, so Houston has not impressed me yet this year. So I'm taking Buffalo in this game on Sunday against Houston in Houston. What say you, Ralph Romano?
Yeah, I expected Buffalo to have that misstep that they had last week. They looked horrible, that 35-10 loss to the Ravens. But the Ravens they played great ball. Houston, I mean, they haven't impressed me either at this point. I think they beat Jacksonville last week. So what? Everybody has. I think Buffalo gets back on track this week. I think Allen gets back into his game. He just looked so off last week. But I think he'll get back into it against this defense, and he'll have a big game. And I think they potentially could have a really, really nice win against Houston.
Mr. Rose.
I'm taking Houston.
Really?
I am. I do think that Josh Allen's going to return to form this week, though. I don't think he's going to play as badly this week as he did last week. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball, obviously you're losing Von Miller. And it's not like Von Miller was like an every down player. He's a rotational guy, but the rotational guys matter. That's how you get your defensive line some breathers.
Yeah.
And they were allowing Von Miller to just pin his ears back, get after the quarterback. And on those plays, he was very effective. He's not going to be out there. And so that's just one less guy in your defensive rotation. Do you think that Gregory Rousseau could beat this Texans offensive line and get to CJ Stroud? That's a tall order. This is a very, very good offensive line that they've got in Houston. The other thing too is that I just like the way that Houston has been able to tailor their offense to whoever it is that they're playing. And the Bills have a pretty glaring, obvious weakness at linebacker. I think the Ravens kind of exposed that a week ago, just attacking that middle of the field. I think the Texans are going to do that because Bobby Sloat's a really good offensive coordinator. And I think that he's seen that. He's going to attack exactly where the Bills are weak. And the question is, can the Bills and these receivers elevate their game to go stride for stride with the Texans? The thing that's concerning, Texans third in the league in penalties, first in holding, first in false starts. That's not a great sign, and that's probably why they've struggled so much.
That's funny. I would have thought the Jets would be first for false starts.
You'd think so, but the Texans have 12. That's first, and it's not even close.
Is Aaron Rodgers the quarterback for Houston? No. Anyway. Okay, so you know what we forgot to talk about was the Monday night game coming up next Monday. New Orleans is traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chieftains. And I think this could be the game of the week, the way New Orleans has been playing. I mean, they've been able to move the ball. They have a running game. Their defense is pretty good. Ralph, what do you think? New Orleans, Kansas City, in Kansas City.
It's so hard to pick against the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I do, I lose. So I really
You should
want
stop doing that.
Yeah, I'm right. I mean, I think I need to. But I really I do like the Saints. I like what they're doing this year. They seem to have they're not as high as they were the first couple of weeks, but still I think that's a really good team. I think they'll be able to run on this Chiefs defense. I mean, the Chiefs are struggling too with some injuries of their own.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's going to play into this, and that's the only reason those injuries. Why I'm thinking maybe the Saints could steal this game, right? Patrick Mahomes has been good, but he hasn't been Patrick Mahomes great yet this season.
Mhm.
And a lot of that, I think, too, is the weapons are just kind of falling apart. So I think this is an upset. I think the Saints are going to go in there and upset the Chiefs this week. I mean, they're primed for an upset with what's going on there with injuries and stuff. So I'm going to take the Saints.
Wow. Okay. Keon?
I'm taking all reliable. I don't pick against Kansas City in Kansas City. I'm taking the Chiefs. I understand the injuries. Listen, Rashee Rice, that's not a small thing. That's a very big deal losing Rashee Rice on that offense. But your head coach is still Andy Reid. He's still a brilliant offensive mind, and he's found ways to make these things work in the past through injuries. Maybe this is the week we see Kelsey get more involved. I have no idea, but I just think Andy Reid's going to figure out a way. The other thing about this is the defense of the Chiefs. It's been great ever since last year. Last year, they had one of the best defenses in football. That's continued this year. They've paid all the guys they needed to pay to make sure that stays together. Trent McDuffie as a corner. This year, he's not getting talked about nearly enough. There are a bunch of corners who've been playing really, really good. Patrick Surtain, in Denver, among them. But Trent McDuffie deserves, I think, a little bit more credit because he's been locking guys up this season for the most part. And I just think that Chris Olave is due to have a pretty bad day going up against McDuffie because everybody does when they go up against McDuffie. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Okay. I, too, am taking the Chiefs. I'm a believer in New Orleans, but not against the reigning NFL Super Bowl champs and two-time champs. So I just can't pull the trigger right now on the Saints, not on this game. Now in other games, yeah, I can go ahead and do, but against the Chiefs, I think Keon's right. Andy Reid is a brilliant football mind, and it seems like it doesn't matter how bad his team might be. He always seems to figure out a way with his quarterback, who's a bit of a gunslinger. We all know that, but everything he does seems to work. A very young Brett Favre I watched do the same thing that Patrick Mahomes is doing now. Just free and loose. He understood what was supposed to happen, and he delivered. Of course, that was before he, retired and stole money from, the welfare. But, where was I going with that point? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to stay with the Chiefs and see what happens. Now, if New Orleans, you're right, Ralph, could win. I know I sound a bit like a politician right now, but New Orleans could win. I mean,
the way the NFL is this year, I would not be surprised if the Saints win. I mean, it's been that kind of year, right?
None of us would be shocked to come back on Monday and say, yeah, the Saints got the dub here, and none of us would be shocked at how it happened either.
Yeah.
I mean, the Broncos are getting wins, and I'm like, what? So, I mean, it's the same thing. So,
Hefty Lefty says it's hard to pick against the NFL script writers, too. Oh,
there we go.
We're doing that business.
CK says for Jeffrey, every week's a bye week.
No.
Wow.
T-Licious says same old sorry ass lamb chops. Is he the 49er fan?
I think so.
I think he is.
He shouldn't be talking right now.
Prison Wallet says, did you guys pick Tampa Bay? Well, everybody but one. I'll let you figure out which one of us did not pick Tampa Bay. There are two geniuses and then one complete idiot.
Damn, Keon, he called you an idiot.
I'm looking at Tampa Bay on my screen as picked.
I thought I saw that too.
Can't be me.
888-368-1580. That is the text line. That's the text number. And we will be back in just a moment. We got to take a break. And when we come back, we will continue to look at the NFL games on tap this weekend. And also we'll pick our games. Do we have to? We should pick Jeffrey's game, right? I mean,
that could be a quick.
I know he's not here, right? I mean, anyway, we'll do it next here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 1580 The Fanatic. And at 1580thefanatic.com. Your home for sports.
Everything nowadays takes a specialized cable. I mean, I got like here in my home. Oh, are we back at Daily Blender of 1580 99.3 The Fanatic? Here in my studio at my house, I've got cables for everything. And, you know, if you could just develop a product that takes the same cable as your iPhone, or, you know what I mean? Where you would be a billionaire. People would buy that product. And you would be a billionaire. You'd be a billionaire just because common sense told you, yeah, don't have. Look at it. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, look at that. That's one for my iPhone right there. Okay, and then I got this one. This one is for a light. It's got like a magnetic end on it. Okay, and then it's got another one over here. That's for a charger, for a light, like I keep in my backpack, you know. So it's another one, and then there's hell's bells. There's another one right here.
Yeah, I mean, next to my bed at home, there's a bird's nest of just wires, just those wires that I have that connect to the various things that I use, and I hate it too. I hate it too.
Man,
it's a lot.
Can't you do something about that? I mean, you're like a big shot, aren't you?
I've tried, but they won't listen. But I have tried.
888-368-1580. That's the text line. Prison wallet. Ralph, as long as Ralph it took Tampa Bay, you're okay.
I didn't take Tampa Bay.
You didn't take Tampa Bay?
No. I was the idiot. I'm the idiot you were referring to.
No, I was the idiot. I didn't take Tampa Bay.
I don't know.
So two of us did not take Tampa Bay, but there is one brilliant guy among us that did take Tampa Bay.
Oh, now he's brilliant.
I was the idiid. I was the guy.
He can't be sexy and brilliant. It's not possible.
Let's hefty lefty. It's called a USB-C cable.
It's happening right now.
Hefty Lefty says it's called a USB-C cable and it's been around for quite a while. Apple just likes proprietary hardware. Well, I mean, it's not just Apple. I mean, this is other stuff too. It's not just Apple. I mean, like that car jump starter thing you can get now, where you don't have to break out the jumper cables and have somebody come over. Yeah, this is cool. One of those cables was for that thing.
Damn.
I mean, it doesn't have a USB-C cable. Okay, are you happy, Hefty Lefty? It doesn't have a USB-C. T-Lissa says, don't worry, Ralph. By next Thursday night, the Niners will be back in first, and I'll always be talking.
Yeah, you're dreaming. It's good that you feel that way. You should pull for your team even when they're not good.
Prison Wallet says, so as long as Ralph picked Tampa Bay, I feel confident. That's what he actually said.
I didn't take Tampa Bay.
Moist one, I'll call my bedroom the bird's nest. What? You can't.
Well, you can, but
no, but you can't. I'm sorry, it's copyright 2024 Arizona Cardinals. Bird's nest.
I doubt they're the first ones to use that, but okay.
Turd Ferguson says, what's our win total for the Cardinals? Now we are a quarter in. What's our win total for the Cardinals now? We're a quarter of the way in.
Mine's still 4. So,
Keon?
6.
All of them.
Well, we knew that. You always pick
all
the
right.
Cardinals.
888-368-1580. We have a few more games to pick. These are our games minus like 2, which are like bonus games. It's the Miami, New England the terrible game, and then Raiders and Broncos game, and maybe another one. Did we talk about Carolina, Chicago?
No,
we did not. No.
Okay. All right.
Probably better we don't.
So that's the 3 spare games I kind of avoided like the plague. But we'll come back to those games. All right. Here we go. We're going to pick our teams now. Let's start off with the man who's missing today, Jeffrey O'Brien and the Blue Horseshoe. Keon, let's start with you. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Stacey Lawrence going to figure it out, or is Indianapolis and the ageless one, Joe Flacco, going to win this game?
Yeah, I think that Joe Flacco is going to win this game. It's not that I don't think that Trevor Lawrence can figure it out, because every time I watch him, while I'm watching him, I don't feel like I'm watching a bad quarterback, but it just seems like all the little details, the little plays. Hey, Trevor, don't take that sack. Trevor, you throw the football away in that particular place. Don't try and fit it into a tight window. He seems to do that stuff more often than you'd like. But I think the biggest problem the Jacksonville Jaguars have is their offensive line stinks and they can't run the ball. Like, that's the biggest issue that's facing them, is there's no room for them to do anything. And so that every other weakness that they have just kind of gets magnified. And let's be honest about their defense too, which has a lot of talented players on it. It hasn't been good enough. It really hasn't. They've given up a lot of yards. And then in the second halves of games, and in the case of the Bills in the first half of the game, they give up a lot of points too. And at that point, I just don't know how I can pick the Jaguars with a clean conscience, knowing that the Colts have a solid defense. They've got a good run game, and Joe Flacco can manage a game.
I'm taking the Blue Horseshoes because my buddy needs to have a happy day.
I don't think it's going to affect his day at all. I don't think he's watching him anymore.
He'll be following along. If I know Jeffrey, he'll get updates on his phone and he'll be following along. How about you, Ralph? The Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, everything you guys just said. Jaguars have looked terrible. They look like they're in trouble. The best thing that happened to the Colts, and I don't mean this in a mean way, was that Flacco's now starting quarterback, because it makes them better. I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson is just not ready for the NFL. He's just not. He looks horrible. The game is, he just can't comprehend the game right now. It's too fast for him. He doesn't make good decisions. He needs to just sit on the sideline for a while. That's just my opinion. So the Colts are better without him. But you know what? The Colts are really bad against the Jaguars. The Jaguars have their number
for whatever reason.
Right. I mean, they have their number.
Man.
And this is a desperation game for the Jaguars. They need to win this game. The Jaguars are going to win this game. I'm sorry, they will.
Wow, Ralph's taking the Jaguars.
As bad as they've played, this is their get right game, and this is the team that helps them get right every time they play them. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
I agree with you largely. I haven't seen the Jaguars.
Oh, I
do
know. I
enough.
agree.
I got to see it before I pick it, but you're not wrong.
Keon, let's go to your game next because coming off of a pretty good win over a very difficult opponent last week. I mean, that was an impressive win against the Arizona Cardinals. You're actually at home this week, so we're hoping the sewer doesn't pipes don't break. Nothing crazy happens on the field. Everything is in good working order, and Cleveland comes calling in the DC. So let's get your thoughts on Washington versus Cleveland at home.
Yeah, I first off, I mean, I hope there's nothing wrong at FedEx Field too, because it's going to be a packed house. That the fan base has been waiting for a quarterback that even looked decent. For Jaden Daniels to not just look decent, but to have the highest completion percentage in the entire league at 82% is kind of insane. No, that's going to be a jump in building. I promise that they are ready to go. When I look at the Browns, the offense for them is where I think that they're going to be at a disadvantage, because if you want to beat Washington, you're going to have to score points. It's pretty clear at this point that the Commanders are an offense that can put points on the board in bunches. They rarely punt. Every drive ends in some kind of score. You have to be able to hang with them, and to have the 27th ranked offense in the entire NFL averaging 16 points a game, the Cleveland Browns, that's not good enough. That's just not good enough. I just can't pick the Browns in any way. And I do like the way the Commanders are playing. It feels weird to say I expect them to win, but I expect them to win here. The Browns are not good.
Okay. Ralph?
You know what I still can't get past from last week? The Commanders' defense is so bad, but last week they looked so good. Was it they got better and got right, or are the Cardinals that bad on offense?
Now, listen, the Cardinals.
I'm going to say the Cardinals are that bad on offense.
They had an offensive, bad day offensively. I mean, they'll be
against a really bad defense. That's the part that I
the
struggle
thing is,
with.
we've seen the Cardinals put points on the board this season in at least 2 games, so I can't say that they're that bad on offense alone.
Against
and of
soft
course,
serve, that's
when you're
against soft serve teams.
But take the Ram game away.
I don't think the Bills' defense is a soft serve team. They couldn't maintain it for the
That was
entire game.
That was game one, though.
Sure,
They didn't score in the second.
Game
half.
one, first half. Come on, I know what you're trying to do here, but it ain't working.
But I'm saying it counts. Those points still got scored by the Cardinals' offense against the Bills. It did.
Take that first half away and take that Ram game away.
I can't. That's not how reality works. Is when you pick and choose the stuff you take away.
I'm just saying.
They scored those points, and it happened on an actual football field in a regulation NFL game. So when I look at what the Cardinals are capable of, yeah, they didn't play well enough last week, but it also helps your defense, the Commanders.
Why are we talking about the Cardinals now?
I just say it helps your defense, the Commanders, when you're never on the field.
All right, we're running out of time.
I'm taking the Commanders. I'm just going to say
I'm
the Commanders.
taking the Commanders.
Easy game.
Commandos will win this going away.
Yeah.
How about your Sea Chickens at home against the New York Gigantes?
Because it's the Gigantes, and I mean, I know we have 6 guys out right now. I think 4 of them are actually practiced this week, so that's good news. We're going to get some of these guys back, hopefully. They should blow past the Giants. The Giants are not that good. Geno Smith, I mean, he's leading the league as far as yards passing. He is on fire. He looked great last Monday. They just had too many weapons missing on defense last week. There was no way they could just do the things they need to do. That offense is clicking. They look really good. They're going to roll all over the Giants. And I think Drew Lock is starting for the Giants, which will be interesting, but he's not going to be able to do much against that Seattle defense.
All right, Keon.
Giants are bottom half of the league in like everything. Bottom half of the league in points per game, total yards, passing yards, rushing yards. This team sucks, and the Seahawks ought to beat them.
Bad. I think they'll beat them
badly.
All right. Let's move on to the next game on the docket. It's the Cardinals going to Santa Rosa to take on the 40 Whiners. Who you got, Ralph?
I don't like either team, but the Cardinals just look so bad, not only offensively, but defensively. Their defense is terrible. They're not the worst defense in the league, but they're pretty bad. And they showed it last week. Jaden Daniels just carved them up. And I expect that to happen with Brock Purdy this week. And that offense, I'm sorry, Kyler Murray, if I'm a Cardinal fan, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. He's not a good quarterback. He makes bad decisions. He looks horrendous this year, except for one game. He has looked horrendous. One game against a team that the Girl Scouts could have beaten that day. He looks horrendous. He's who we thought he was, and he's not going to get any better anytime soon. So you have to take the Niners. Even with all their injuries, you take the Niners.
All right, Keon, quickly.
Yeah, if you can collapse the pocket against the Cardinals, you make life very difficult for Kyler Murray. Washington did manage to do that very well. Detroit did it well the week before, and the Niners are one of the best teams at doing it. So I'm going to take San Francisco.
Okay, well, I'm not doing a rant this week. I have to change it up. I've got to change it up because the Cardinals need a victory. Like I said, I don't think the team is listening to my rants. I don't think they're listening to these rants. So I'm still taking the Cardinals to win big over
Big.
the Santa Rosa Seafoam whiners. But listen, I'm not doing a rant this week. So
what's the score?
72-3. There it is. I think we covered about everything we can cover on the NFL. Let's travel over here to our text line at 888-368-1580. Before we got a time for a couple of texts here. Pickle D, the sewage lines will definitely explode at FedEx. A packed house of fans dropping Browns in the bathrooms while the Commandos are dropping Browns on the field. It's destiny.
Wow.
Now that they've been fixing that building up. It's actually, I'm impressed. It doesn't look great, but it functions.
I like that correlation though. The Browns and the Browns. That's pretty good.
Destiny. It is your destiny, Luke. Let's see. Chief Skull says, afternoon, guys. Is Ralph on to pray for the Dodgers? Love hoping they beat the Padres. Never going to happen. And his Seahawks met the Barry Sanders effect.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I can't wait for the Padres. That's all I'm going to say. Can't wait.
Lacrosse guy says, I forgot. Is Ralph a Rams fan or a Seahawks fan? Dodgers or San Diego?
I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to answer.
It's never been San Diego. We make fun of Ralph a lot. It's never been San Diego.
Hefty Lefty says, Ernie's roommate calls his bedroom the bird's nest. But
That's funny.
Yikes.
I like it. It's dumb, but it's funny. I like it.
The bird's nest.
Hefty Lefty, are you a dad? Because that is dangerously close to a dad's joke right there. Yeah. All right, 888-368-1580. When we come back, guess who's going to be on the air with us? It's going to be the fantasy guy. So start texting in your fantasy football questions right now. He's going to join us. Scott Engel, the fantasy football king, is going to join us next here over most of these same radio stations. How long do I have before the music starts? I thought I was talking the music.
You're not. You got 10 seconds.
Oh, I have 10.
Yeah. I saw a clean 10 seconds.
What'd you have for lunch today, Keon?
I had a ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich. Yeah. That's always good.
Ham and turkey.
Oh, there's the Scott Engel will be joining us over most of these same radio stations. At 888-368-1580. Get your fantasy football questions going. Ralph, I know you're going to have some. Keon, you're going to have some. I might be set this week. I don't know. I don't know if I have any real questions. I don't have a whole lot of problems on my fantasy team. But if you do, 888-368-1580.
I only have one, and his name is Mark Andrews.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So there it is. More of the Daily Blender, 30 minutes more with Scott Engel next on 1580 and 99.3, the Valley's home for primetime NFL games all weekend. Right here, 1580 and 99.3, the Fanatic.
Hey, sports bettors, Jeffrey O'Brien here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS.com. Football's back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. If you want a game plan to win this season, then check out BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season with a huge offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's right, a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. BetUS offers value other sportsbooks simply don't offer. Gamblers insurance, crypto bonuses, and casino bonuses. Plus, they have all the products you need. Competitive odds, parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and prop betting. And when you're ready to lay down your bet, give your bet an edge. Why not combine your sign-up bonus with knowledge? Get that knowledge with expert analysis, picks, and predictions on all major sports on their very own BetUS TV. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call at 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. After that, you can also save me, as I'm currently hanging from the edge of a cliff. To recap, number 1, customize and save. Number 2, time allowing, save me. Shoulders separating.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. That's why our Lowe's Red Vest associates can help with game time decisions. Plus, use in-store mode on the Lowe's app to find what you need. Under pressure at home and want it soon? Order online by 2 p.m. to get it same day. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items and select zip codes only, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome back to this Thursday edition of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. As we enter the 4 o'clock hour, just a half hour left of today's show. Coming up tonight, it's Thursday night football, and I think it's going to be a good game. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But right now, joining us, as he does each week at this time, is Mr. Scott Engel, the king, the fantasy football king. He's joining us to answer your fantasy football questions. Scott, you may recall, he's a senior fantasy football writer for Rotoballer.com, the official fantasy football writer for the Seahawks.com. Fantasy football writer for Sportsline.com, and is an inaugural member of the Fantasy Sports Writer Hall of Fame. Mr. the King, how are you, sir?
Good. It's like I'm very distracted from football tonight because I'm from Queens, New York, and I'm hanging on this Mets Brewers game.
What's the score right now, Scott?
It hasn't started yet. It's 0-0.
Oh, all right. So you might be distracted.
First pitch 7:08.
All right.
Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah, so so about 5 minutes or we're going to get going here.
All right.
6 or 7.
All right.
Yeah.
So 888-368-1580 for to mention, get your questions in. As we do each week, we try to answer as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes. Scott Engel is joining us here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, the Daily Blender. Ralph, you got questions for Mr. the King?
Scott, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I've only got one question. Defensively, I've got either the Bears or the Seahawks to start. I think they both have pretty good matchups.
Yeah, I think you'll have to go with the Seahawks. They were without 5 starters, and it became 6 against the Lions. But this is a different team. The Giants are very likely going to be without Malik Neighbors. So, there's a chance that Nwosu and some other guys can come back. You definitely have to go with the Seahawks.
And they got Drew Lock going against them, don't they?
I haven't seen that. Did that story break today?
I thought I saw something about that. Yeah, that's what I thought I read. I could be wrong. That'd be nice if it was.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any updates that it has. I'm just saying, maybe you saw something that I missed.
That or I was drinking. I don't remember. But anyway.
It would happen anyway.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
All right, Keon, you got some questions for Mr. the King?
Only the one thorn in my side every single week that I play fantasy football, which is that I don't know what to do at tight end anymore because Mark Andrews apparently no longer catches the football. He gets targeted once a game. Should I give up on Mark Andrews? Do I play Taysom Hill or do I go someplace entirely different? Because I don't know what to do, man.
Well, Taysom Hill has a fractured rib, so you're not going to play.
So not there. All right.
Yeah. So
lovely.
You got about an hour, less than an hour, to pick up Cade Otton of the Buccaneers if you can. I wouldn't cut Andrews because at some point, he might start doing something. They keep talking about how well he's blocking, which doesn't help fantasy players. But Cade Otton is a good desperation option because Tampa Bay is he has some decent games, and Tampa Bay is without like 2 secondary receivers tonight.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
All right, Mr. the King, I have a couple of questions for you as I look through my roster because there are a couple of interesting matchups going this weekend. One of them, I understand Austin Eckler has passed all the protocols, and I noticed he's still questionable. Have you heard anything that he might be playing? Number one. So that'd be my first question. Anything new on Austin Eckler?
Yeah, it looks like he's trending towards playing. Usually when guys miss a game with a concussion, they're often, ready for the next game. And he could be in for a heavy workload because Brian Robinson has not practiced with a knee injury in the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm. All right. So also I have another question about a wide receiver. I've got Jalen Waddle. He's on the bench, but this week they're playing New England. Good time to put Jalen Waddle in the lineup and see if he can steal some points?
Not until Tua Tagovailoa comes back. At my weekly rankings on rotoballer.com,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have Tyreek Hill listed as a starter this week.
Wow.
That's how bad Miami's offense has been. Like going into last week, New England was averaging 13 points a game. Only in Miami was averaging less, 11 points a game. I thought Tyler Huntley might pump a little life into the offense. That didn't happen either.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last question before we turn it over to the fourth dimension. I've got Jordan Love starting right now against the Rams, and it looks like a favorable matchup. But I also have Geno Smith, who's got a good matchup against the Giants. Which direction would you tend to head?
Can't bench Jordan Love. You just can't. He's my number 2 ranked quarterback on rotoballer.com this week, going against a scrappy Rams team that could force him to throw the ball enough. And just so many injuries have decimated. And I can't ever see a situation where I'm playing Geno over Jordan Love unless he's going against some sort of shutdown defense, which doesn't exist in his division.
Okay, thanks. I will keep it as is. Let's go to the text line. Swazman is on here and he says, "Hey, Mr. the King, Wicks, Green Bay, or Myers, Vegas? Wide receiver."
I don't like Myers being the top wide receiver against Denver because Devontae Adams is going to be out. Denver's got a very good secondary. So I would take the Packers wide receivers. I'd go with Jade Reed, of course, who's become a must start if you have him. And after that, Dontavian Wicks, I have top 25, and Romeo Dobbs to a lesser degree. But I wouldn't be starting Jacoby Myers this week.
All right, there you go, Swazman. Beer Nuts on the text line says, hello, Mr. the King. CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels?
You can't bench Jaden Daniels right now. You just can't. In fact, you might want to trade CJ Stroud and just have a decent backup in case he gets injured. But Jaden Daniels right now, it's just, he's setting all kinds of early career records for rookie quarterbacks. And he's like a top 3 or 4 fantasy quarterback right now. With the rushing upside, you're probably going to start him every week over CJ Stroud.
All right. There you go, Beer Nuts. Fecal Mist says, Mr. the King, wide receiver slot, T. Higgins or Olave?
I got to go with Olave. Higgins showed us more last week, but still got to go with Olave for more potential volume.
All right. Cool Jr. Hi, Cool Jr. He's on the text line. And let's see here. He says, do I start Patriots or Saints defense? Also, Kyler Murray or Matthew Stafford, please and thank you.
Thank me. Very polite. The Patriots for sure, and I would never play Matthew Stafford over Kyler Murray.
All right. There you go, Cool Jr. Cliff Dingleberry on the text line says, I have Jordan Love and Mayfield. Should I assume Love is playing?
Yeah, he played last week. He's not on the injury report, so you start him.
There you go. Cliff
you don't
Dingleberry.
worry about an injury 2 weeks after a guy comes back.
No.
Don't be a Dingleberry.
Well, for some reason, that is his name. For some reason,
his name,
for some reason, on at least on my readout here on the NFL fantasy football app, it's got questionable still by Jordan Love. I don't know if he's sore. I don't know if he's really questionable.
It's nothing to be concerned about. He played last week and put up monster numbers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Big George. Hey,
Unless
Big
he
George.
has a setback, I'm not taking him out of the lineup.
All right. Hi, Big George. Here we go. Let's see here. Which 2 would you start, Mr. the King? Rashad White, Chuba Hubbard, or Zay Flowers?
Yeah, you can't play Rashad White right now. He's falling behind Bucky Irving in the pecking order there for the running backs. Bucky Irving's the lead running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. By the way, with all these injury questions, it's just, I just want to crystallize things here that when people see questionable, they worry. But there are different shades of questionable. You got to get the context behind it. You go to rotoballer.com, you read the player updates. They got all the context behind it. Sometimes a guy is listed as questionable and, he's truly a game time decision. Other times the guy's questionable and there's really nothing to be concerned about because he was at least limited in practice.
And there you go, from the King himself. Big George on the text line says, hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday. Is Brad going to be on the show asking for Scott, the King of fantasy football? And then he goes on to say, which 2 would you start? Rashad White? Oh, I'm sorry. I just repeated that question, didn't I?
Maybe you got distracted because Francisco Lindor let off with a double. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Wow.
It was a close play at second.
All right. Boy, he's a baller. He is a gamer, that guy. All right, Niner Napolis is on the text line. Scotty says, CJ Stroud or Brock Purdy?
I like both of them this week, but they're both playing high-scoring games. I like the matchup better for Purdy.
There you go.
Arizona's defense is not that good.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Niner Napolis also asks, Trey Tucker or Xavier Leggett?
Yeah, I would go with Leggett. Better matchup for him this week. 6 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown last week. The rookie's coming on with Andy Dalton taking over the quarterback.
Fecal Mist says in his flex position, he has a pick here. Fecal Mist. Xavier Worthy, Drake London, or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin right now, you can't sit him with the way Jaden Daniels is playing. He's going to try to catch a touchdown pass for the third consecutive game. Terry McLaurin, with the way Daniels is playing, is a top 12 fantasy quarterback right now.
All right,
wide receiver. I'm sorry.
That's okay. 888-368-1580 is our text line. Remember, it's a short show today, so we've got about maybe 15 minutes left in the program. You want to get some fantasy football advice from the king himself? You can text in at 888-368-1580. Here's Bullseye, and he says, Mr. the King, for same flex position, Devin Singletary, Zach Charbonnet in a running back position.
Singletary's iffy to play. If he plays, you start him. Otherwise, you're going to have to go with Charbonnet. But hit the waiver wire for Jeremy McNichols, Antonio Gibson. There's better options out there than Charbonnet, who with Walker back is more in a secondary role that really doesn't help you in fantasy. You know, there is running back news. You know, you should have Tyrone Tracy on your roster because he is the immediate backup to Devin Singletary. You got to have the handcuff. You know, right now, if you go to the waiver wire, I'd pick up Tyrone Tracy if he's available right now, because if Singletary doesn't play, Tracy's got to start. If not, Jeremy McNichols or Antonio Gibson.
All right, there you go. Solid advice for you, Bullseye. The chosen one is on the text line. And his question for the king is flex PPR, Najee Harris or DJ Moore or Jennings for same flex position.
I'll lean towards DJ Moore going against his former team. Revenge game, he's going to catch a touchdown.
Big George asking a kind of crazy question. Follow-up question. Would you start Patrick Mahomes or Jaden Daniels?
Well, you know, how unpredictable is fantasy football? Starting Jaden Daniels. I think Mahomes is going to bounce back, but the rushing upside of Daniels is just too good. He's been too good. Yeah, Mahomes, I think, will bounce back. I'm not starting like Geno Smith or somebody like that, or Brock Purdy necessarily over Mahomes. I think he's going to bounce back against 25th ranked pass defense, but it all depends on who you have. I have him ranked 7th in my ranks at quarterback on rotoballer.com.
All right, Whistling Gerbil is in at 888-368-1580. Whistling Gerbil's question is Pittman or one of Tampa Bay's running backs?
If you got Bucky Irving, I'd play him.
There you go.
Pittman is up and down. And if Richardson starts, it's worse for Pittman than if Flacco starts.
Looks like a new texter here. The 7111 is asking Mr. King, would you start Baker Mayfield tonight or CJ Stroud?
I'd lean towards Stroud. That could be a high-scoring game against Buffalo, banged up on defense.
Welcome to the show, 7111. Give yourself a texter name so we know who we're talking to. 888-368-1580. The moist one shows up and says, hi, Mr. the King. Go Hawks. Etienne or Swift?
I'm going to still lean with Etienne. You know, Swift had a really good game, has a good matchup, but I'll trust Etienne for more quality touches.
There's some
if
great
the Mets
questions.
don't score a run here and they just got 2 outs, I'm going to throw my phone. You're going to hear it.
There is some great questions. Keon, I need to ask you, do we have a break before we go away?
We do.
Okay, let's take that break right now. We'll come right back with Scott the King and get your fantasy questions answered. Remember, there's still time to get some answers. 888-368-1580. It's a daily blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game in a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn We Match, unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
You may know me as Ruben Gallego, but I've had a lot of titles over the years. First, son, or mijo, by my single immigrant mom who worked so hard to make ends meet, and brother by my 3 incredible sisters. I've been called janitor, line cook, construction worker, doing any job I could to help out since we didn't have much. I earned the title graduate from Harvard University. I was called infantryman in the Marines when my company took some of the heaviest losses in Iraq. I'm called congressman, proudly representing Arizona the past 10 years. But my favorite title of all is dad to my 2 beautiful kids, whose future I'm fighting for every day. That's why today, my title is candidate for Senate. I'm fighting to lower costs and secure our border. I'm Ruben Gallego, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message because for me, it's never been about titles. It's about standing up for hardworking Arizonans like you.
Paid for by Gallego for Arizona.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. 1, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call. 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Well, hustling. Got to hustle. Got the Thursday night football just around the corner. 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. This is the Daily Blender, and on the phone with us, it is the fantasy football king, Scott Engel. And we go back to the text line at 888-368-1580. Beer Bob is on the text line, Scott. He's asking the question, with Tua still out and Hurts on bye, any suggestion at quarterback to pick up? Yes, I don't know. I know you don't know who's available, but any sleeper suggestions?
Andy Dalton, might put up some pretty good numbers, but like you said, I don't know who's available in your league, but
right,
we're dealing with bye weeks. Andy Dalton is somebody, maybe Aaron Rodgers to put up some pretty good numbers because the Jets really need that game in London.
There you go. Hope that helps, Beer Bob. Eye Candy is on the text line. Hi, Randy. Please ask Mr. the King, out of these 5 wide receivers, I need to start 3. Goodwin, Ayuk, Odunze, Reed, Collins.
Reed, Collins are locks. And then Marquise Goodwin, I don't think plays anymore, so I'll tell him to start Chris Godwin.
Did I say Goodwin? Perfect.
Say Goodwin.
Godwin
I don't
is
know if
what
you're
I meant.
talking about the former outfielder, Tom Goodwin. I don't know what you were thinking.
Just pay no attention to me. I'm just trying to keep the train on the tracks. That's all. There you go. Eye candy. The Bears fan says, PPR league, Zay Flowers or Khalil Shakir.
Shakir has an ankle injury. I don't know if he's going to play. You got to monitor that. But I play Flowers over him anyway.
Also, do I insert McNichols for Brian Robb or with confidence if he doesn't play?
Yeah. Well, I think you'll have to if he doesn't play.
All right, there
I
you
think
go.
it's very smart that you have McNichols as insurance for Robinson. People should be doing that. It's a good move.
Let's see. Arrowhead of the class. I could probably answer this one, but I'm going to send it to you. Arrowhead of the class asks, Kyler Murray or Sam Darnold?
Darnold's been good, but he doesn't have the rushing upside of Murray.
Hope you were listening, Amaya D, because he had the same question. Darnold or Murray?
Darnold's been good, but Murray's got more rushing upside. The 49ers are a better matchup than the Jets, too.
There you go. The moist one is outlook for Trey Tucker.
I don't like it this week against Denver, but if Devontae Adams gets traded, he's got some upside. He can also make some catches over the middle. I think he's got some borderline wide receiver 3 fantasy potential if and when Adams gets traded. That would be so Jets to trade for a 31-year-old wide receiver with a huge contract. And then they're one of the top quarters. The Rodgers to Adams connection will be 72 years old.
All right, Bite My Kebab. Scott is on the text line and says, hello, should I start Daniels or Love?
That's tough. I would trade one of them, but I like Love's matchup better this week. Rotoballer.com right now, I got Love ranked 2 and Daniels ranked 3. You don't want to deal with this every week. Trade one of them.
Big George is asking, so if Devin Singletary does not play, who would you pick up off waivers of the following players? Jalen Warren, Rashawn Johnson, Justice Hill, or Jaleel McLaughlin?
I'd probably go with Hill. He's been catching passes. Jalen Warren's still injured, so I wouldn't spend a roster spot on him. And really, all of the Denver running backs have been awful.
Hefty Lefty says, flex spot, Eckler, JSN, or Chase Brown?
Definitely JSN. The Giants pass defense has given up 5 receiving touchdowns. He's actually played the most snaps of any wide receiver for the Seahawks in the last 2 of the last 3 weeks. More opportunity leads to more production. So, yeah, definitely going with JSN. He's a top 25 fantasy wide receiver right now. Another pretty good fantasy game last week. I have to look at the update from Roto Bowler. I just saw, something about DK Metcalf come across, but I don't know what it is, so I'm going to have to check into that.
All right, Hefty Lefty also asked the question, Chiefs or Steelers defense? Ooh.
I think that's tough. Like, the Steelers got a great defense, but Dallas has a better offense. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs against the Saints. Like, Derek Carr, all of a sudden for 2 weeks, Derek Carr is going to be a good fantasy quarterback. Clint Kubiak's really revived this offense. And then they turn back into the real Saints and Derek Carr in the last 2 weeks.
There you go. Bullseye is asking the question, how about Chase Brown, Alexander Madison, or Ty Chandler?
I'm actually going to go with Madison. He's supposed to get more work this week because Samir White has just been a flop. And, he's got a few touchdowns, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball, so they got to try to run it against Denver.
Cliff Dingleberry is back, and he says, I only text in when the king is on so I can hear him laugh when you say my name. Moist One is asking the question: Chipper Jones or Jackson Churio?
I'm not touching that name, but Chipper Jones is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I guess he's a Mets fan, so he wants to mess with me. Chipper Jones or Jackson Churio. Yeah,
right.
I guess he's a Diamondbacks fan. 'Cause you guys are out there. You're watching a game on television. You realize that, right?
Wow. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Love it.
Come at me. I'm coming back.
Thanks, Moist One. Appreciate it.
Beer Bob says, would Sam Darnold be a good buy for a bye week pickup?
Oh, definitely, for sure. You can actually start him over some other players that you may have drafted. Some people expect a lot from Caleb Williams. I'd start Sam Darnold over him every week. I'd start him over Aaron Rodgers. Start him over Kirk Cousins. He's a good top 14 fantasy quarterback right now. Some weeks you're going to start him over Geno just based on the matchup.
Hefty Lefty's asking the question: JSN, Addison, Higgins. Which one do I sit?
I'm going to go with Addison against the Jets.
Let's see, 8073. It's about time you get a texter name, 8073. You know who you are. We need a text name. You've been texting in long enough now. 8073 says, Mr. the King, Walker, Moss, or Mixon?
Bench Kenneth Walker. And Mixon, I don't know if he's going to play. Don't ask that question again, please. Bench Kenneth Walker for Moss.
Wow.
Mixon.
All right, Big George.
Playing like a top 6 fantasy running back right now.
Big George asks, would you start Justice Hill over Zach Charbonnet this week?
Yeah, because Charbonnet got a much lesser role with Walker being in there. So, Hill's going to catch passes, etc.
Bullseye has got a question, and he's asking, Likely or Mark Andrews?
I'd go with Likely for a little more upside potentially. He's running more routes than Andrews, but if you get Kate Otten, I'd play him over both of them.
Do you think that football is transitioning again? Remember, it was get away from the running backs and having all these overpaid running backs. And now it seems like this year the tight ends have not been consistent point makers at all. Do you think the league itself is moving away from a tight end as a target?
I can't say it's a broad stroke, but, they're staying in the block, a lot of them.
All right, Scott, thanks as always, man. We really appreciate it. That is Scott Engel, the Fantasy Football King. And you can find him on the X at Scott E. The King on X. Scott E. The King on X. And that's going to do it for this Thursday edition. Next over most of these same radio stations, it is NFL Thursday Night Football. Is Iron Eagle? He calls these, right?
I think so, yeah. I think it's an Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle and somebody will be on the air next to call football. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow at 3 on the Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
You better, you bet. Weekday afternoon.